there's a convergence of several different issues. One of them is that the stuff they add to the lore, I don't think is all that interesting. Like in the first one, as just a stand-in for the evil child abductor and serial killer, that was really effective, right? That, like the mask is a striking image. It doesn't mean anything, but it's a striking image, and he's a menacing presence and all of that, right? And there he was like a metaphor for an abusive home, right? Because he does and says things that are reminiscent of an abusive parent, right? Like when he kills his brother because he discovers Finn in the basement, he blames Finn for having made him do this, right? Stuff like this, right? And that mirrors the father as well. The father who acts in a similar way at home because he's an abusive parent. That was kind of the deal of the first movie, right? And here he just killed more children while pretending to be a camp counselor. In addition to that, the entire plot hinges on coincidence, like we mentioned. And Gwen is the main character, but she has no agency. She never really does anything. She does not really have like a journey of her own. She does not grow or overcome a big hurdle. She kind of just receives these visions, and that leads them to follow the breadcrumbs and find things out. But I didn't feel like there was very much going on with her that made her interesting. And Finn is kind of just a supporting character, which is fine, right? Like he didn't have to be the protagonist of this one. And then in addition, the movie starts about half an hour too early. I think this movie should have started when they arrive at the camp, and they basically just say, we've been getting visions and they've led us here. And then based on what questions they ask and where they go and what they try to find out, you learn the thing about the mother and the fact that they think that there were more murders that the grabber is responsible for and all of that, right? I think the movie kind of spins its wheels for half an hour. In the beginning, everything that happens at the school, that doesn't really add very much. So put all of these together, and I think we have just a little bit of an empty suit of a movie where it tries to do stuff, but I don't think it really comes together. And I think what's missing is like a big idea, some kind of thing that drives the entire thing. And I think we've kind of touched on this, which is this is an obligatory sequel because the first movie made so much money, but it's based on a short story that was already pushed beyond its limits in the first movie. So what do we do now? We kind of take ingredients from other horror movies, right? So we have the lakeside camp, we have the psychic who gets visions from the past, we have the serial killer who kind of stalks your dreams. At this point, we've referenced Friday the 13th.
Nightmare on Elm Street.
Nightmare on Elm Street, right? Like for about 5 minutes, this is a Nightmare on Elm Street ripoff. And then it forgets that, and he's just an invisible monster that can be punched. So I think that's kind of where this movie came from, and that's how it feels like to me, which is this movie didn't start with, hey, let's take the idea of the grabber to the next level, or let's push the story forward, or let's talk about what happens to somebody who survives this kind of serial killer or this kind of abduction, or something like that, right? I think that central idea was missing. So we just started filling in blanks and pushing back the boundaries. But we didn't really have a direction, and we didn't really have a big idea of where we were going towards. And because the movie doesn't really go towards something other than they fight the grabber in the end, that is, I think, why this movie feels so aimless and so empty in the middle.